Hi, class. Well, the good news is you actually did quite well on this quiz. I mean, last semester, or over the summer, I should say, class average on this quiz was 76. So you're a better class than the last one was. What it comes down to, though, is I said that if the average dips below 80, I'll curve it. But since the average is above 80, there's no need to. One thing I look at quizzes is what's the highest score? Because the highest score tells me if the quiz was doable. Like one year, the high score on the quiz was 76. Okay, that quiz was way too hard. Uh, but anyway, the fact that somebody can get 100 and a 96 pretty much tells me that this quiz was doable. Now, for those of you who may not have done as well as you would like to, here's the good news. I dropped the lowest score. So I realize people, may not be used to the format or something like that. And I've had students who've come to me freaked out about their first quiz and then they start getting A's. It's really, multiple choice exams are something to get used to, and some people just aren't good at them. Actually, college entrance exams, I never did as well as I really thought I should have. I got 790 on my math, and it was like, what the hell did I get wrong? And my GMAT, I got 750, which actually I was happy with because I just wanted to get over 700. Plus, I'm taking the exam in my 30s, late 30s, so my learning period had already shrunk quite a bit. It was really funny when I was practicing, though. I found out that one day I would get like 650 and the next day I would get 800, and it's like, what the hell's going on? And then I realized that I was very sensitive to the conditions, that when I tried to study and take exams after work, after I'm tired and all, I didn't do as well as like on the weekends. But anyway, you're probably interested in, yes, PM3. Now, PM3, you have different diagrams, and one can be a network diagram, one could be a resource diagram, and you can actually derive one from the other. So how do you do that? Okay, this is a resource table, and in a resource table, what you look at is, okay, what's happening? Well, it tells you how many resource hours that each one of these steps takes. However, how long, what's the length of that step? And what you do is count the number of days. So you could actually do this backwards. If they tell you A is 3 days and you use 2 hours of resources, then you'll go 2, 2, 2. And so if we look at this, we start off with A, D, and G. We know we start off. So A is going to be 3 days. G is going to be 3 days. But D is 5 days. So what do? Well, we look at what comes next. So after these 3 days, what gets started next? H. So these two are running in parallel, and they go into H, which runs for 4 days. So what it would look like is this, in terms of drawing your network diagram. Now, what about D? Well, D ends here, and then which starts after D? B and E. And so let's see. Wow, this is a long one. B goes for 12 days and E goes for, let's see, 7 days. And you would continue and finish off this diagram that way. And then once you have the network diagram, the next part is draw the resource chart. And actually, all you need to do is take the table and just add up how many hours every day is how many resources that you use. That's good enough. Don't worry about the chart. Just do the table. Now, which steps are in combination or could be in parallel? Well, you know B and E are in parallel. You know A and G are in parallel. And so why is that important? It's important because things in parallel naturally take less time. Or maybe if I change the resources through one, it affects the other. But anyway, from this, you need to figure out what the critical path is. Okay, here's the hard question. And this gets complicated, and there's actually more than one answer because I didn't ask for the shortest time or something like that, which I probably should have. But I didn't do it because I knew that this is hard enough. This is a lot easier if you set it up in Excel. And it might even be easier if you put it end to end. But your boss comes to you and says you cannot exceed 10 hours of resources per day. You don't get any additional budget, so how do you level this project? Well, if I can't get any additional budget or whatever, this is where you use time to save you money. And so when I add this up, like this is 15, 15, 15, 11, 11. Let's see. Wow, that's a big one. 19. And so you keep adding this up, and then you see at the end, you just have like 8 hours and the last day of the project. Actually, I don't think I have the entire table here. It's less than 10 hours. So what do I do? Well, what you want to do is not extend the critical path. And so what am I going to do with these hours? Well, what I can do is look at all the paths that are not critical paths and start to extend those. For example, supposing A is not on the critical path. Well, that takes 3 days and 6 hours. I want to get these numbers down. Or let's take G because it's a big one. So G has all 7s in it. So what I can do is make these all 2s. But now I've got 15 hours of G that I have to add on. And so you would add this on. And you would constantly basically be shifting these around to move your hours in such a way that you can get it below 10. And what it comes down to is that the total number of hours still has to be the same of what it is right now. So G still has to be 21 hours. Or maybe I reduce G and D. The key things to look at are the critical path. Because the paths that aren't on the critical path, I can extend those and it still might not be the critical path. But if I extend those, I might end up creating new critical paths. And so, because I didn't pick the minimum, yeah, there's more than one solution to this problem. All I'm looking for is, are you consistent in how you did it? If you have any questions, please let me know. And have a good week.